Thanks for coming. Hi, Zach.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you. Oh, did you watch that basketball game? That was awesome. Yeah.
Which basketball game?
My assignment.
Which game?
What's that?
Which game?
The Michigan game.
I was there.
I'm jealous. That's awesome.
I seen you. I was in the lower bowl.
I can imagine. I mean, it looked crazy on TV, so I can only imagine.
Screaming out.
You have good taste.
When they came out, it's like, come on, it's like, okay, you're on 18.
Nope, I got you got your lifesavers. Yep. Full circle.
All right.
You have to watch out. There's no easy. No easy.
You gotta pre-open them all.
She doesn't want the crunchy things.
I know. I read something today that said that it's going to be like upper 30s to low 40s. And it's going to be like so for a couple weeks from now, which just sounds like a vacation.
Because like, then the lawns get soft, and then I can't get out.
Right. Yeah, that is too bad. Six inch gaps every spring, don't you? Because it's like that every year. It's like freeze thaw, freeze thaw, freeze thaw.
This is actually taking look at that. I gave you
7.
Look at summer games. You've seen all those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a busy year this year.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
or last year, I should say. I still haven't caught up to that.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order, February 3rd Township Board meeting. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's start with roll call.
Ray Carnes,
Here?
Jennifer Eden. Here. Herman Ferguson,
Here.
Dean Haas,
Here.
Pam Loeffler, here. Chris Repetta,
Here.
Zach Tucker,
Here.
John Ward,
Here.
Kevin Ross,
Here.
Sally Eastman, Bill Wood,
Here.
and who are we missing?
Garrett.
Ladd, absent.
All right, thank you. I guess we'll start right in with the joint meeting with the Planning Commission. And I know John has taken some time to put together some of their accomplishments, so
Greg, can
Can we
I
have a
point
run
of
through?
order before we start?
Sure.
Last week, or last meeting, you had agreed to put a sub-agenda together on the points that we were going to be addressing in the joint planning meeting. And to quote you, you said, "I'll put together a little sub-agenda, if you will, so that everyone has an idea on what some of the items are, but are not limited to what we'll be discussing."
Accomplishments?
If there's no, excuse me, I'm not done. If there's no agenda, then, and we've not distributed that agenda as you had promised at the last meeting, how can we have a meeting so that the public under the OMA knows what we're going to be discussing?
Legally, we don't have to publish an agenda.
Oh, great, we don't have to approve it either then, I
No.
assume. So we don't, so I
Well,
can,
that's the different part of the meeting.
no, it's
so-
not, it's part of a joint meeting.
This
That's
is
one
a
meeting,
separate
joint.
meeting. Yep.
Joint meeting is one meeting,
We're
not
going to
separate
talk about
meetings.
accomplishments
I,
and,
I move to cancel that part until we can come up with an agenda that we can publish to the public
okay.
about what this discussion is going to be, like we've asked and you committed to in the last meeting.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, because quite honestly, I have no idea, I had no idea what time to prepare for this, what we were gonna do,
Okay.
what the discussion was gonna be. I mean, the public has no idea what the discussion
All
was.
in favor of canceling?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
So it carries. All right. So we're going to continue with the joint meeting with the Planning Commission, and we're going to talk about your accomplishments, and we're going to talk about pending items that you have, that you're looking at, with board input. And then we're going to talk about your workshop dates, because we think we should probably move those out a week to give a little more time to collect information so that we don't have to cancel and/or postpone. So let's start with the accomplishments.
Yep, that's what we had on our list. So I handed out this report to the board from the Planning Commission of our accomplishments,
Great.
actions taken.
Excuse me, just one minute.
2025.
What do we have him move to the center so we make sure he's next to the microphone?
You could
Just,
grab-
well, just move the microphone, just so
That's a good
that
point.
we can make sure we capture everything.
Yep, thank you.
Yep,
Yep,
thank you.
that's a good point.
Yeah, I can hear him, but I'm not sure people in the back.
Correct. And
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yep.
Video
Get on the record.
audience.
Sorry about that.
So as I stated, what I gave you here is actions taken by the Planning Commission in 2025. We reviewed this, worked through this during a Planning Commission meeting, and Ross drafted it for us from all of our previous actions. We made some changes, some other things that we did, and worked through this and voted to approve it. So I'll go through it. We had 12 meetings and 3 workshops held. Appointed Zach Tucker to the ZBA as Planning Commission ex officio. Recommended board approval of Oar Creek Dreams proposed private road and shared private driveway with conditions. Recommended board approval of the medical marijuana caregiver operation, proposed regulatory zoning ordinance amendments, and proposed regulatory ordinance with conditions. Elected officers for a 1-year term. Approved increase in detached accessory structure floor area request for Marinowski.
Let the record show Garrett Ladd is present.
Approved increase in detached accessory structure floor area request for Ellsworth. Approved increase in detached accessory structure floor area request for Miller. Ebby sightline established for rear yard setback for the proposed dwelling. Recommended board approval of the Peabody Ice Climbing Special Land Use. Recommended board approval of utility scale solar, wind, and battery storage overlay map. Recommended board approval of Roadside 23 Holdings LLC site plan review. Recommended board approval of extractive industrial ordinance amendments. Approved AmeriGuard storage minor site plan amendment. Approved Liberty House special land use minor site plan amendment. And approved the Foster Benacor storage minor site plan amendment. So that's a list of the action items on there. Most of them, or if not all of them, I'm sure you've seen come through to the board. Well, not all of them, because some of them were Planning Commission approvals. Any questions on those items?
When are we going to see the MMA documents? We're still waiting for all those.
Yeah, it's my understanding with discussions with Ross that in the planning commission ex officio, that was sent back, the board sent it back to the planning commission to review some of the comments from the county planner. A lot of them are legal, legal opinions, and some recommendations to change it. So that, I'll work with Ross and we'll get that on the agenda for the next regular meeting. Anything else to add on that, Zach?
I would just note that recommendation or request from the board, I believe, came down at the last board meeting.
Yeah.
But nothing beyond that to add, so.
Is there, back to my question, is there how long would it take? Do you have an estimated date as to when we'll see the final documents and whatnot at the board?
I don't believe we have an estimated date yet because we're gonna need to engage special counsel at Foster Swift to review some of those recommendations. It's mostly legal stuff, so we really want to have a good opinion from our legal counsel before we take action. It's my hope that legal counsel can attend the next meeting, but I haven't heard confirmation on that yet. So if that all goes well, I'm thinking, we could take action on it after we get opinion from legal counsel. Ross, any other thoughts on when that could be sent back to the board?
Well, we can't predict the future. There's a lot of variables, a lot of moving parts. You summed it up pretty well. Pretty much all of the comments from the County Planning Commission are legal questions that we will need to run by special counsel. I don't anticipate it'll take that much time, but again, can't predict it.
Has the draft at least been sent over to them for their, to look at prior to them attending the meeting?
We're going to talk to you about that today to get authorization for legal counsel to review.
And that's on the second item on our agenda, part of the upcoming ongoing work. But in there, I guess I would encourage, I know it's on the next item, we can get into it more there, but we did develop a regulatory ordinance as part of that, along with the zoning ordinance. So working with our planning consultant, we did that to help protect the township on some things, kind of outside the zoning and land use. And we're, that way, such as having a license, you got to have a license to have this facility. And so that is not something that needs to even go to the county planner for review or comment. We sent it to them. We sent our, we developed it and recommended it. It's not that we need to do that. The board could develop that on their own, but it's smart to do those hand in hand. So those, I guess, probably, I don't know if there's any changes there, but that'd be something to look at, the regulatory. We also are doing that, I'm getting ahead of myself because we're gonna go through all these items, but along with the data centers, we're gonna have a regulatory ordinance part of that. So, keep that in mind, because if that's something that the board's like, hey, we don't want, which on the medical marijuana, we kind of ran that back to the board if that's a good thought, and that was indication that it was, and move forward with that. So, but that's also what we'll be doing with data centers, so.
So on the regulatory part, sorry, I've been hammering on the board to find out when we're going to be reviewing the final draft for that. They sent it, I think we sent it back to you guys to do final checks. How quickly, because the regulatory aspects, of course, are the responsibility of the board. And so to review the final, pardon me?
Both are.
Well, the voting on the zoning, zoning work gets done by you guys, and you guys are taking on the regulatory side, like you said, because we're leveraging the consultant to help us with that either way. So it made sense to do them side by side. But if the regulatory is the regulatory document going to be sent to the county? That has already been done? And is that also part of the legal review that's going to be discussed with Foster Swift? Are they going to be reviewing the regulatory side as well, from your understanding? Or you're asking for that to happen?
My opinion is yes, I think that's what we want. Like I said, we can discuss it more when we get there, but Zach, if you had something to add.
Yeah, just, there's a lot of overlap between the two, so it makes sense to look at them side by side. I agree with Mr. Ward in that sense. The county didn't comment on the regulatory ordinance because it went to the county planning division, so they wouldn't have had any comments on that. But if we're making changes, I'm not necessarily suggesting that we would be, but if we did make changes to the zoning ordinance, some of those might carry over to the regulatory ordinance as well, so.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we have a legal review of both, not just
Yeah.
the zoning one, of course.
They need to be reviewed hand in hand. You make one change to one, we're gonna need probably legal counsel and then, the planning consultant's making the changes to the document, so they're gonna need to be on board with this too, but, they go together, so they need to be reviewed together.
Right, and is that still the timing? What's the timing around the third moratorium expiring? Is that, are we gonna be, because what I heard Ross Nicholson say just a moment ago is you can never tell how long these are gonna take. Are we gonna need to have another request for a fourth, moratorium? I mean, that's kind of why I asked about the timing, because,
When we get to that item in the upcoming business, maybe.
but we don't have MMA on the item, on any other schedule. There's no agenda for MMMA.
Well, we're gonna discuss it, part of our,
the pending.
upcoming and ongoing
On the
work.
pending.
So.
Well, again, without an agenda, I'm lost
I know,
here.
I was
I'm
just
going
suggest-
Well,
It's part of our
We'll keep it
upcoming
moving.
work.
And,
so-
and the number 3 on the new business talks about retaining legal special counsel for data center zoning, but that has nothing to do with MMMA. That's why I'm spending the time now to talk about MMMA, since it was part of your accomplishments plan that you, or review that you had talked about, so.
Well, the council is part of his next pending, what they're gonna be working on. Is it,
I don't understand what that means. I apologize. Maybe I'm missing something, but, so these are the actions taken. Is there another sheet that says?
That's our planning commission
What?
report to the board
Accomplishments.
for 2025.
Okay.
and then we're gonna talk about pending, which we don't have.
Is there another sheet? That's what I meant for pending.
We'll discuss it. We'll discuss them.
Okay, so all right, there's not a sheet. All right.
So, is it fair to say that regarding the MMA, that possibly the focus of the county is not in step with the focus of the township?
I would believe that. Like I said, I think it's
Okay.
quite
And this is
legal
why-
terms. And I'll just give one example. They, we had it isolated to one zoning district. And they thought maybe we should open it up to more zoning districts, so it's not maybe considered exclusionary zoning. That was just one off the top of my head, but I don't know if Zach had any further thoughts on some of the, the legal opinions of the county.
And this is why we should discuss having Foster Swift
Yeah.
get involved.
I guess I would say, as a general statement, I respectfully disagreed with a lot of the statements from the county in terms of their assessment of both the zoning ordinance and the regulatory ordinance. But I agree. I mean, I think we need to have special counsel look at it and make sure it didn't change her mind. So.
Any other questions on the planning commission report?
Can clarify, and my assumption is that anything here that is still having further action, you're gonna talk about is in another portion of this meeting
Well,
right now?
these were just things that we took action on.
That, I'm
That
not saying,
doesn't
but
mean
like,
they're off our
MMA,
plate, because we
said
took action
you
on
had
it, it's
another
coming back.
agenda that you were
Yeah.
gonna talk, so I'm assuming there's another
Yeah, I
portion
guess-
of this where further action stuff you're gonna talk about next? Is that
Correct.
correct? Okay.
Correct. And I'll just
I'm not-
summarize,
I'm just-
I'll
I
just
won't talk
summarize
about
our
nothing else.
agenda.
I
And
won't ask about nothing else.
maybe-
I'll let you go through
All right.
your next steps first, and then we'll go back if we need to.
Yeah, let's set expectations first.
So I guess
Yeah.
the plan was, we had really just 3 items. One, kind of 4. One being this planning commission report of what we did in 2025. 2 was upcoming and ongoing work. We got a handful of those items that we're working on that we can discuss. And it's a discussion, it's not just all reporting out. It's, there might be other comments from planning commissioners. And then 3rd is the workshop schedule, which we want to talk about because it's a board action and a planning commission action needed to make that change. And then 4 was just miscellaneous. Anything else that planning commission members want to discuss with the board or vice versa.
Then I'll just defer any more questions to this
Correct.
here until we're done, and then I'll come back if
Yep.
there's something
And I'm
that we didn't
thinking-
talk about.
I'm thinking we'll go upcoming business, we'll move to that one. And I'm thinking this one, we'll go each item one by one. Maybe there's discussion from planning commission members or questions or comments from the board or vice versa. So.
Perfect, thanks.
And this is in no order of, but data centers is, something obviously that we're working on. So we got our planning consultant on board. We're working through outline of a draft of of what the ordinance would look like. That one, we also talked about developing the regulatory ordinance along with the zoning ordinance. And what we want to do on this is engage the legal counsel a little bit earlier than we did on marijuana. I think we just want to balance, fiduciary duties of, $400 a lawyer to come to each meeting, but also want to have enough engagement so we get to the end and it's like, you can't ask that, so that one I think, you've got on the agenda here, but we're asking for legal counsel, to be on board. Not every meeting, we want to get so far and then have them with us at the meeting. I would prefer it at the meeting. And then, get it, kind of line us up what's legal. And they're, from what I understand, some of these legal counsel are, it's a I would say a hot topic, and some of them are pretty sharp on the laws and stuff. So that one we've been working through various number of I would say issues or nuisance factors of what would be a problem with data center in the community and how can we protect the community on that. Just kind of really drafting those ideas, not digging down deep in each. I can give you some thoughts that we've had is like, just environmental reviews and different things that, if we feel there's impacts to wetlands, we're going to want an environmental review and just kind of working through that. One big part of this ordinance is the location. It's, in my opinion, it's the biggest part of it. Thoughts are either put it in a certain zoning district, that could be industrial, or we could develop an overlay. So I think there could be advantages and disadvantages of both. We haven't really landed on it yet, but we have discussed it and encouraged the planning commission to start thinking about these locations. Any other thoughts from the planning commissioners or anything they want to highlight on the data center topic that we've been working on?
So I guess I would add, in the general sense of the regulatory ordinance and the zoning ordinance, I think the benefit of a regulatory ordinance and the licensing requirement that would come along with it is it would give the township the opportunity to look at these on a more regular basis. If you just went with the zoning, it would be maybe not necessarily a one-time thing, but a very rare time thing, where the township would have the opportunity to go out on site and see what's happening. The regulatory ordinance, the main function of that, at least from my perspective anyway, would be to, sort of enhance the township's ability to monitor and make sure everything's going the way that it's supposed to. So I see some value in the double approach like we've used in the past for this particular issue as well, so.
Can I make one suggestion? Maybe you've already thought about it, but one of my big concerns about data centers in this area is the water table.
Yep.
Based on the fact that we're wells here, we don't have city water that they're going to be drawing on. They're going to put huge wells in. I just want to make sure because a lot of people may not think about that because they're just city
Yeah,
people.
I think
So water table is a big concern of mine.
we've discussed it. We haven't dug deep into like how to regulate that. It's definitely a concern, a huge concern. I think, in my opinion, you know, we don't want to just say, you can only, for example, you can only connect to municipal water. We don't have municipal water, and think that's just gonna protect us. Because guess what? Then they go to Fenton Township, who's connected to Carrignandi water, and then they run a line and we're not protected on that. If we're only worried about the wells and aquifer. But other things we talked about and thought, you know, that some data centers are using a closed loop system. So maybe they're not using as much water, but they're still gonna need some water. And so how, you know, looking at some examples of that.
Additionally, when they go to flush it out.
Yeah, what happens with the
that's
water?
discharge water.
They
Right.
discharge water.
Discharge water, so when it comes to stuff like that, like, to not use the sewer, right, for those
And I don't, you guys don't have to get it, I just wanted to
Yeah,
bring
it's
it
a
up. Well,
huge
sounds like
concern,
you
yeah.
guys are on it, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is it your intent to have the community engaged in these discussions? Howell Township, for example, in their recent battle, I mean, we've got townships all around us now that are facing, in southeast Michigan, facing data centers, and we don't seem to be taking an approach to include the community, include the residents who have been doing research, like Howell Township residents and others who have produced some incredible documentation that we should be leveraging and probably need to be leveraging. And also, the second point would be, McKenna has openly said that they don't have any expertise in data centers. Are we also looking for, in addition to the legal, are we going to be looking for an additional consulting firm that may have the ability to help guide us through the process from the consulting? Because not all legal firms are good consulting firms to write ordinances. Outside of Gerald Fisher, who I think he's on the, you know, on your accomplishments from the ordinance for extractive industrial, that was really, he was a combo. But, so those two items, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are.
Well,
I would just like to say one thing, our township engineer, he does have experience.
Spicer?
With data centers?
Phil,
With data centers?
yep. Phil
Well,
Westmore.
But he's not a consultant in the way that drafting ordinances. I'm talking about
I'm
the,
just saying, he's an engineer who has experience with data centers, and he is a resource, so.
Going back to the first topic,
Yeah.
Howell Township, and, you know, they had a data center application and then a withdrawal. Now I believe they're under moratorium, and they have like a community resource advisory group or something.
yep,
You know, I think that could be an option within our ordinance and bylaws and stuff, but the way they're doing that, I don't think they're doing that. That group is working behind the doors. They're not doing it under the Open Meetings Act, and I think that is, in my opinion, the best to, you know, have our discussions on data centers within an open meeting, so it's, you know, transparent through the community. And you're thinking,
are you sure about that? Because they took the resident community effort and actually passed, the board passed to create a community engaged organization and effort that would be above the table in open public meetings. So I'm not sure if that's quite accurate, that they were doing everything underneath the table. We've been studying that over time, me and a number of residents as well.
I'm not, what's that?
It's a six-person committee, I believe.
Yeah, they put
Yeah.
together
I thought,
an official
what I read,
committee.
and maybe they've changed it since, but what I read is this, they're not subject to OMA, they're just doing, they're doing their research behind the scenes, and then report it to the planning commission. And then the planning commission can take that in the open meeting and develop the
No,
ordinance.
just like
as needed.
McKenna does. They don't
like-
do all their
and-
research
and to
sitting
be honest,
in the meeting. I mean,
You know,
so I'm not sure what that means.
you know, to be honest, any resident, and this is just my opinion, since you asked, any resident has the opportunity to go do their research and send it on to the planning commission. We've had a number of residents, Mike here, he has done some research and he emails it to Ross and he sends it right on to the planning commission and we got that. So I'm not opposed to having a community resource, but I think, I mean, the way we're developing it and open to public comment, and any research that they can send us is similar, so.
You have a history, though, of ignoring research
Hey,
that's
hey,
been.
let's stay on topic.
I am on topic.
Irrelevant.
I am
Well,
on
I mean, I
topic.
think
Point of
there's,
order, relevant.
I mean,
Let's stay
it could
on-
be a.
I'm trying to
it could be a
understand if
matter
you're
of-
gonna be committed to engaging the community or not. It does not sound like
Yeah,
by your
do-
answer, you're interested in engaging by maybe
That-
having workshops and
All
other
right,
things. So-
all right, that's your perspective.
Excuse me, you know
did
what?
your opinion.
It is my opinion, and please don't interrupt me while I'm speaking.
You're
That's-
going off topic.
I am not off topic. This is a topic that was brought up in a joint meeting between the planning commission and the board.
And I think John was very specific in saying, residents, give us your information. We will accept any information that you can give us on this. It's new to us too.
Yeah, I think,
I think that's what I heard, right, John?
well, if I can respond, I do think, you know, over, at least since I've been on the planning commission, we have, taken a lot of resident input into account, just because if someone has a certain opinion, you know, doesn't mean, if it doesn't, their opinion doesn't make it into the ordinance that they want, it doesn't mean we didn't take into account. So I guess I don't.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
Kevin.
think we're getting to the point of micromanaging at this point,
Yeah.
and it's not.
So I'm just
not okay.
looking for commitment that you'll engage the community. If you don't want to engage the community, maybe by committees,
We've
Greg
done
is.
that, we've done
Greg,
that in the past, and we will continue to engage the way that we always have.
And you're going to hold joint community planning commission workshops as
That's
a,
up to the planning commission.
well, that's what I'm asking, just for a commitment to do that.
That's up to the
At the
planning.
board
That's
level,
all.
I'm a little concerned we have a trustee that appears to be trying to give specific direction to the planning.
I'm not, I'm asking for,
It's micromanaging, not okay.
So let's stay focused here on,
I would say that, you know, with the, you know, handling the meetings within an open meeting, you know, is no different than how the board handles any progress that the board's taken. You know, there's public comments. I mean, people email us to Ross and get information to us, and we take that into account. And we've got a lot of good information from that. You know, Scott contacts us, Mike has, and we've had a lot of good public comments.
yeah.
So.
And your workshops have been
Yeah.
workshops,
but they're not workshops with the
Functional.
public, right, Greg?
functional.
They're not workshops with the public other than public comments. I mean,
Well, again, that's your perspective.
Well, you know, the planning commission acts a little differently than elected positions on the board, whereas the,
Hold up.
Hang on.
Okay.
you know,
Jeanette?
Yep.
Warning one. Zip it.
Warn everybody.
Zip it. Okay. All right, John.
well, you know, as an elected official, you guys need to represent the people that elected you. As a planning commissioner appointed, our job is to represent the township. And we do take in public comment, but we're gonna develop an ordinance and make decisions that are in the best interest of the township.
well,
All right.
I'm just sad that you don't see the township as being the residents too. So that's a disappointment, but, okay. By the way, the board has also advocated workshops engaging the residents, which we've never held, a workshop that was a joint workshop with the
Again,
residents.
that's
So-
not
Let's move
what
on.
this discussion's about. Chris.
It is absolutely what it's about, because this is the number one topic.
Is this relevant?
This is the number one topic
Mr.
in the
Chairman.
entire state.
Point of order,
Greg.
relevancy.
It's, the data center topic is the number one
Mr.
topic, bigger
Supervisor, I'd
than
like to say I do not
solar, wind, and
understand the
battery.
relevancy to the topic.
So it's huge.
focused.
It's huge.
Stay focused, Chris. I know
Excuse
it's
me,
not.
that's rude. I am staying focused.
He is the chairman,
I'm-
be respectful,
Hey,
be respectful.
you be respectful as well to me.
Hey.
Please, it's not your meeting. I'm talking to the
You need to be
supervisor.
respectful.
I'm talking to the supervisor.
All right, John.
So still on data centers, I do, and this is just my personal opinion, I I like working with Foster Swift that we did on medical marijuana. I do think that they generally work for townships and government entities. And I think they would be a good one to represent us for data centers. Also, I wanted to note that the Michigan Township Association and Michigan Association of Planning are having some various training opportunities that Ross and his team have shared with us, and Terry shared to us. And I'm working with Greg, and we're gonna, attend some of the webinars. And also, I haven't talked to Greg about this, but I'm maybe gonna ask to go to the planning conference that's coming up in Kalamazoo. And our planning consultants, highlighted some of these trainings. We've asked, is there trainings and stuff? And he shared some of these opportunities. The one data center one just popped up, but they had like a list of all these webinars or in-person, various different ones, and then that data center one on February 12th just popped up. So I think it is a big topic, and I think it's a fairly new topic in the, new developments and new training opportunities are out there. And just because our planning consultant hasn't worked through this before, I don't think there's going to be that many that have.
Right.
And I think they're taking a very good initiative to get up to speed and get the training as are the other planning commissioners. So.
All right.
Moving on, next upcoming business that we have, back to the Planning Commission, Michigan medical marijuana caregiver regulations. As you know, we already talked about this a little bit, but we got comments from the county. It's my opinion that they are, we had a very tight ordinance where it didn't, maybe, it wasn't, I don't know, maybe help me out, Zach, here, but it was really tight where you could have this operation. And I think that, from my understanding, reading the county comments, is that they thought it was a little too tight, and it maybe would have a little bit subject to a lawsuit. So we're gonna put it back to the legal counsel, but I still think that we want it pretty tight, so that's just my opinion. But Zach, if you have anything else to share on that.
I think that's well put. Our intention was to draft a tight ordinance, just like you said, and I think we accomplished that. And it's all about risk balancing, which is why getting the input from the attorney is important now that we have that feedback. So.
Good deal. All right.
And we'll work to, when we first kick this back off with the planning commission, we'll put a schedule together and take into account the moratorium and update Zach as needed to update the board. Any other from the planning commissioners, anything else on the medical marijuana? Accessory structure standards. This is something that we've been working on. It's not like, I don't want to say it's like filler work, but this isn't like the highest priority as something like a data center or marijuana ordinance or a site plan review that, we have a time frame on. But we have been working on this, and looking at the action list that we had in 2025, there was a number of increased detached accessory structure floor areas. So a lot of these, that goes to the planning commission. In certain zoning districts, R2, L1, LK1, and these, they're allowed to have an 800-foot accessory structure detached, but you can get approval from the planning commission to go up to 1,200. We continuously get these. Usually they're approved, and we're looking to change that ordinance to allow the 1,200 in those zoning districts.
Coach had done that a year ago.
Well, did you come to the planning commission?
I just built my garage.
Well, it is, I haven't been on the planning commission and we denied one.
I'm just kidding.
Now, some of those, you do want to make sure that if it's in a residential area, which these are residential areas because it's in R2 and whatnot, that we want it to be, compatible with the neighborhood and whatnot. So But even with that being administrative review, so now Ross will handle those, it's still in there. They gotta have it match the residential architecture. It's not gonna look like a pole barn in a subdivision. So that, and then also some locations of accessory structures, front yards and distances. None of this is all done. We kind of drafted them as we go, and then we're gonna have one big, public hearing and approval of these ordinance. And another big one on this accessory structure that we only discussed and haven't really got into is accessory dwelling units, which is just basically residential living in your barn or garage, detached. It's a big deal in other townships. There's concerns with it. There's advantages. People want to have their, what do they call them, Ross? Mother-in-law suites, where you want to have your mother-in-law, your family live there, but maybe later on, after they're not living there, there's concerns of people renting it out or something. So it's kind of a big deal, I would say, and we're not putting it off, but it's kind of going to be at the end of our accessory structure standards development. Ross, anything on accessory structure standards that I didn't touch on?
You summed up what we've gotten to so far. The ultimate goal is to go through and verify that all of the standards that are currently in place are current and up to date to the needs of the community. We get inquiries all the time about various things, whether it be size, location, ADUs, etc. We're just trying to listen to residents and draft the ordinances accordingly.
To your point, Dean, we were handing out those variances like candy, right? So it kind of lessens the load on everybody.
Have you guys looked at, I know Lake Fenton just changed, and again, I'm on a lake, so that's why I know, but they just changed their regulation on that because they had a lot of VBRs, there. And what they changed is that you can't rent it unless you live on the property. So they didn't want people just renting their houses out or renting a portion and them gone and nobody monitoring. Or are you guys looking at, you can't be rented at all? Is that which direction are you? I'm just curious what you're thinking.
This is only on accessory dwelling units, so not your primary residence.
I'm talking about.
Okay.
They've got a garage within one apartment.
We haven't really got down to that
Okay.
yet. We presented the issues, and to be honest, data centers has been taking up majority of the meetings and
Good.
less amount of accessory structure standards.
I'm good with that.
It's kind of a list, we have an ongoing list of what are we gonna get into when we don't have applications that are on top priority or ordinances that are under moratorium that are on top priority. So, we haven't discussed either of those, or if this is even gonna be allowed, we might conclude that we don't want it. So, that'll be in the future. And then another item similar to that is sign regulations. I think, in my opinion, it's even less critical at this time, but there's some, I think some changes in ordinances that we need to make, and maybe that's based on, Ross, can you help me out on this one? Is that based on some Supreme Court decision?
Hey, John, Ross, can you come up, sit up here so
Yeah,
it
come
is recorded?
sit by me, Ross.
And so because it is important.
Ross.
I think that everybody hears all of it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, the sign regulations have been an ongoing situation for years. It's based on a Supreme Court ruling that essentially says that you cannot regulate signage based on content. It needs to be based on content neutrality.
It's freedom of speech.
It's something that's a challenge. It's a challenge for everyone, including legal counsel and whatnot that we've engaged in the past. It is something that we have had continuously on our list since that Supreme Court ruling. It's been bounced back and forth through various planning commissions with different membership over the years, and it's something that we hope to get to and address in the near future, time permitting.
Thank you, Ross.
Yep.
I guess maybe to stay up here while we go a couple through these. And then the other one upcoming was just any additional time-sensitive projects as requested by the board. Or if you find another ordinance and moratorium, and send us the business and we'll handle it. And then, of course, any applications that will come up. Right now, we do have one coming up. I think a house burnt down, and we're gonna. There's a public hearing coming up on that one about rebuilding the same footprint. We haven't
Yep.
started that business yet, but anything else in upcoming business, Ross?
Those are the primary issues that we have. I mean, there's obviously a long list of additional items, but we are trying to dial it in and prioritize on the work that needs to get done first. And I think that's where we're at right now.
Thank you. And then the next item is the workshop schedule. So this kind of come about because a lot of times we get situations such as data center, where our meetings are the second Tuesday of the month. And we work with the planning commission, the planning consultant, we give them direction. You know, we're not their only client, they got other business to handle too, and they gotta review their product. So, you know, we give them some direction on a Tuesday night. Well, we're trying to get information by like Friday for an agenda for and then the workshop's the next Wednesday, so 8 days later. But really, in 3 days, we're trying to get the agenda together. Can we have that item on the agenda? Is it gonna be ready from the consultant? So what we're thinking is if we could have our workshop 1 week after, so 2 weeks apart essentially. It's on Wednesday, but Tuesday,
So there's more chance of
it
doing
would
a
be
workshop, but having
fourth.
updated already.
Instead of the third Wednesday, it'd be the fourth Wednesday, right? Yeah. And I think we like the same time, 6 o'clock, but, you know, that's something that needs to go through the board, because I don't know what's going on in here on the fourth Wednesday. Maybe there's another meeting, or if, you know, revising the scheduled meetings. Or, and then if the board's on board with this, then the planning commission is gonna have to revise the planning commission bylaws. So it needs to be worked together. But that's our intent. I think we can get more business done.
Can I ask Chuck real quick, what does
Yeah.
it take to do a bylaw revision?
Well, for the planning commission bylaws, it just took 2/3 of the planning commission members voting.
Is that, no public notice, no preliminary, okay.
That's to change our bylaws, but, you know, like I said, I think the board's got like a scheduled meeting. I don't know if that, you know, just like a placeholder or something, but maybe that takes a board vote. That I don't know.
No, it's just that the board handles the scheduling of meetings, so we need to be on the
Yeah.
same page in terms
Yeah.
of publication
And I don't-
and whatnot.
I just want to make sure it was easy to change a bylaw. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
no,
can
it's
change our
just a matter of
bylaws,
voting.
but we're only gonna change it if that's, you know, we're on the same page here. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. There could be another meeting. Maybe we gotta move it to a Thursday. We're putting it out there that one more week after on the fourth Wednesday. So, is that like open? Is there a historical society?
There's nothing
I
going
don't know.
on at that point, and in just listening to you, if the board is okay with that, that would be something we could do with our new calendar beginning April 1
That's fine.
to move forward. And so what happens is I compile all the dates, then I bring it to the board. It's in a board packet, and then the
We
board either approves or
Approve
doesn't approve.
all
you know.
the whole schedule.
Yes, as a whole.
ZBA, planning
Yep, I
commission.
get
as a
it.
whole, yeah.
I didn't know if it was, you know, that's not too far away. It's 2 months away. You know, but it is tough for the planner to get information back and
Yep.
to keep the action moving forward. It's
Totally
it's
realize
almost
that.
like doubles our progress each month.
Right.
So,
And I-
we'll look forward to that.
I know that has caused cancellation of the workshop because.
Yeah, 'cause we're not
just-
gonna-
It wouldn't, it
By
wouldn't,
design, they were always designed to be as needed as possible.
Yeah.
The
Right.
workshop is not a mandatory thing, it is when we are able to make progress on an item.
function,
multiple
it's
items.
gotta, you gotta have the info to be functional and have it efficient.
Correct.
And if you don't have.
Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
Right, right. So there's no sense in having a meeting just to have a meeting.
So, we'll wait, you know, Zach can coordinate between the planning commission and the board, and when you guys get that schedule updated, and we'll get it on the agenda to, revise the bylaws.
Yeah.
Or maybe we could revise them now, saying taking effect.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll put that in the agenda for the next meeting. That way you know, hey, we're ready, we voted, we approved it, and then you just set the schedule. We'll, ask to, amend the bylaws to move the optional workshops to the fourth Wednesday of the month at 6 PM.
Yeah, we'll look at.
Starting after when that schedule is effective. All right, so that was really all we had. The last item was just miscellaneous. So anything from the planning commission members or Ross that you want to bring up to the board?
I'm good.
I think so. We put the list together, but I think anything else? Zach,
Not from my end.
anything else from the board?
Anything you guys need from us?
You know, I'll leave it up to you guys on the planning commission vacancy, but,
Yep.
you know, that also helps, progress a little bit. And then also the data center, special counsel, I think is, gonna help us out, so.
Data center and continuation of MMA, I don't know how that works as far as, you know, our retainer with Foster.
Yeah.
On that.
Sure, if we have to,
We can amend the agenda today to add that, vote for.
But is it already,
Because we haven't approved our agenda yet, so
But I
we'll
think
just do the
it's
amendment if
even-
you want and vote on it today.
well, I don't know if they're already retained.
yeah, I don't know
They're
either.
still retained,
I don't know if we have to. We can-
For transparency and for clarity, I think it's probably a good idea that we openly say, yes, we are doing Foster Swift for the purpose of this and this, whether it's one vote or two votes, but I think just for clarity, we should have
Didn't we
both of them
already-
listed as
Yes.
being approved.
it was, it's reiterated for the
Yeah.
that's fine.
Mr. Supervisor, I believe we already retained Foster and Swift for
That's
the
why-
MMA. So that's why it's
And I-
not on the agenda.
I think they can pretty much tap into that resource as needed,
Well, we still
because we've already
should,
approved it.
we approved it for the MMA, not for
Not-
data center.
Not for
That's why
data
it's on the
center, we
agenda.
still need to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've already approved the Foster
Yes.
Swift for the.
Yeah.
For the MMA,
Okay.
and
So we'll work with Ross to get them on board.
back
For the next
involved into the,
If everybody's on
Well-
the same page, I'll reach out tomorrow, look it over, and we'll get the ball rolling.
I would just like to recommend, I mean, they're one attorney we're working with, but if there's no attempt to look for other legal firms that we might entertain, or at least say, tell us what your experience is, then, you know, I don't think we're serving the public in the way that we need to be, from a transparency, and, I mean, I like Foster Swift, don't get me
We work with
wrong.
them because they're one of the leading experts in the field. They are the ones that work on behalf of the municipality. as
That's what I'm trying to
on
understand.
behalf of the developer.
Right.
I know initially,
I'm-
if I recall correctly, we went through a large number of different options, and that's who was landed on because of their expertise.
For data
because of
centers.
No, for.
That's what I'm talking, specifically for data centers.
Data centers is all on you.
No, what I'm trying to say is that if the thing on our agenda today is to retain special legal counsel for data center zoning regulations, the discussion here is related to bringing Foster Swift on without looking at any other attorney groups. I'm not saying that Foster Swift is not qualified and the
That's
best
your discussion now.
or anything
That's
else.
not
I'm
my
just,
understanding.
That's not our
Discussion
plan.
either.
That's
I'm
for you
just-
to decide, and then we're going to go with whoever you decide on.
well, I'm just asking
And
if you
that's-
guys know of any other attorney groups that do that. That's all I was saying. It's a joint meeting. We're allowed
Yeah,
to
I
ask
did-
each other
I
questions
did
like
a little
this.
research, we talked with Mario, I think he shared a little thing, how they're, engaging in data center with the Michigan Towns, one of those associations.
It's a-
MTA. I think Foster Swift has townships and municipalities at their best interest and not the developers, and
I don't disagree with that statement. I'm just,
Yeah, but that was just my review, so it's up to you guys who you hire. I think it's important to have someone sooner than later, and my rough guess is probably about 2 more meetings, we're gonna want something. What do you guys think?
I mean, ASAP.
You know, I don't think we're ready next meeting to review anything on data center, but we'll wanna start asking them some questions and what is acceptable? How small can we go on our area? You know, it's not quite as cut and dry as solar, where you have a law that says this many megawatts and you can kind of equivalent it to acreage, you know, so we were kind of more targeted to a certain area. I mean, a data center, could it be 30 acres? I don't know, is that reasonable? I don't know that, but I think it's important to get someone on board and sooner rather than later.
Yeah, right now, we're just in the information gathering and research phase, which is the smart thing to do, so we can get a framework together, so we can run all that past legal counsel.
I
John, I have
understand.
a question for you. On the, you talked about filling the spot for the planning commission. Would you like to see that done when? By the end of the month?
I'd like to see someone, more importantly, someone that's the right person.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't rush to fill
Okay.
an empty seat by the end of the month, and maybe it's not the right person at the time. I don't know. That's not up to us as appointing them or approving them, but if it was me, I would, and it was like maybe the big end of the next month or the month after, I would rather have the right person than the soonest, in my opinion, but I don't know, planning commission, you feel free to share your thoughts.
Spot on.
Well, there's been no issues with any,
Yeah, we
attendance
can-
or meeting cancellation, so I mean, it's not critical in my opinion either. It is about finding someone who, has the community's best interest in mind and has the time to dedicate and whatnot.
Mr. Supervisor, one more thing to your question. I think it would be useful to the planning commission to know if there is anyone on the board who's outright opposed to the idea of a regulatory ordinance when it comes to the data center issue. Because that would be something that would be good to know.
Is there?
I'm not sure I understand what your question is.
So
I mean,
the
wouldn't
approach-
that would be related to what's in the regulatory ordinance? Or are you thinking of just in general?
Just in general, I mean, the option that the planning commission, I think, is looking at right now would implement something similar to the MMA, where there is a regulatory ordinance and a zoning ordinance, so a two-layered approach. But, as we talked about earlier, regulatory is the purview of the board as compared to the planning commission. I was simply stating if the board was absolutely opposed to the general idea of a regulatory ordinance, it wouldn't make sense for the planning commission to spend time.
Yeah, I'm not against regulation and regulatory ordinances, but I think it's real premature to talk about what that means. I'm fine and open to looking at them and what kind of licensing or regulation would that encounter is still down the road a little bit, right? So, but, and by the way, I think the same approach was taken for MMA was the board had an opportunity to hear a little preview of the regulatory licensing and had a chance to say, no, don't go forward with it, or
Yeah.
go forward with it, from my memory. And that would probably be an equal chance. So I wouldn't want to say we have to have a regulatory or I didn't want one, but I'm absolutely supportive in looking for one, looking at them.
Yeah,
That's my opinion. There might be other opinions.
If also I can maybe kind of interject here too as well. With having a regulatory ordinance, one of the things that I think that the planning commission as a whole needs to focus heavily on is also community benefit. And that's not just for this ordinance, this is for any other ones that, we work on, is the community benefit. How can we benefit the most people possible and lowering, as many people's, essentially many people's taxes, right? That to me is huge. And so like having some sort of benefit where the community benefits over having something in their community, I think we need to focus heavily on that. I think that going, with the regulatory, stop me if I'm wrong, I think having a regulatory kind of, that really goes hand in hand when you deal with community benefit.
So I'd like to answer your question, Zach, and my response is, I am not opposed to 2 layers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pam. That's important from the officers, because this could, and it's not developed yet, but, there's, I guess, a disadvantage is it feels like it could put a little bit more administrative, you're gonna have to have licenses and different things like that.
Sure. Well,
But
with all
I
due
think it's worthwhile to do, because it'll give us extra protection to review what's going on and to stop it for violating different things.
Well, but
Than just to say.
hold on, though.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate the comments, but I was just criticized by Mr. Ross for trying to lead the planning commission, which I was not doing, and now here you're
No,
turning
it's
around
not
giving,
managed.
here you're trying to make recommendations to the board as well. So I'm just asking you to just be aware that I didn't make any decisions or asking you to decide one way or another on things.
All right.
But I'm just trying to make a point. I don't want to be silenced on those things, but I also would like the same respect in the other direction.
Yeah, I don't think, I think when it comes to regulatory ordinance, I mean, this isn't something that is required for the planning commission to develop and recommend to you. So if you guys want to say, do this, you put 6 months in there instead of 2 months or whatever, I think that would be within the law. Check with the lawyers and stuff, and also when we develop this ordinance, say, for example, we're gonna say, we're gonna review your wastewater output every 1 year, and you're like, no, we wanna do it 6 months, then you guys just strike that off and change it. I mean, as long as it's not tied back to the zoning ordinance, then that's what.
Exactly.
Because, again, we didn't want an asphalt plant, even though it would have reduced our tax. So I hope we balance that very well. Yeah.
That's a huge priority.
let's
And I
get-
think that- real quick,
okay.
I think in the past, we haven't done that. I really wanna, again, obviously with John, right, I really wanna focus heavy on that, because I just feel like, we've passed so many things, and what does it benefit you guys?
Because that's what we're really all here for,
And that's what we're all here for. So we
to
need
take care of our
focus on
township.
it. Exactly.
Appreciate that, Ken.
Sorry.
But back to your question, Zach, and Pam's answer, and again, I think at this point in time, we move this data center similar to the MMA, keep them together for right now. Maybe we'll break them apart, maybe we won't. But in answer to your question, yeah,
I think we're all in
I think we
agreement.
want-
I agree, yeah.
I think as a board, we want to keep them together for right now.
Yeah, let's develop them together.
And
That's what I
handle
agree.
it like MMA, like you did
Yeah,
MMA.
you guys did a
For
good
the
job,
time
it seemed
being.
to work well.
Thank you.
All right, I think the last item you had was
That was miscellaneous, so anything else?
And that's it, so.
Well, before you guys leave, I just want to thank every one of you for all your work. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you, Pam.
It's kind of a thankless job sometimes, isn't it? I get it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
guys.
All right, so we'll move into the approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion to approve.
Be-
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Before we vote,
I
I
make the
do,
motion to approve it.
Well, we gotta have a
Okay.
discussion. There's a motion and a second, discussion?
discussion, yeah, I had sent on time 3 agenda items that I got no response from you guys. From Greg, I sent it to you and to the clerk, and you didn't even have the courtesy to respond that you received them. Our agreement from the previous board meetings was that we would take those agenda requests, and if we couldn't put them on the next agenda, we would let you know when we're going to put them on the nearest agenda. I got no response, and one of them was to re-add the NDA discussion. Of course, that was brought up by Dean because he wasn't here during that discussion, and it was a very short discussion. I think there was a lot of confusion and misunderstanding. So that was one of them that I did, that I wanted to re-put on the agenda. The second one was a discussion regarding meeting attendance, because the Planning Commission was here as well. They might have been a good joint discussion to have with them, but since that's not going to happen today, I still would like to have that on the agenda. And I'd also, the third one was I had requested for a legal opinion from our township attorney whether the board complied with the Open Meetings Act when it held the special meeting on December 26th. And those were the 3 agenda items that I asked to be added, and I'd like to move that they're added to this meeting.
support.
Okay.
We should all
Did
rotate stuff on the agenda.
all the board members here, he wants to add the NDA, the attendance, and the, what was the third item again? Your board,
That was the legal opinion from Chuck, or the legal comments from Chuck, whether the board complied with the Open Meetings Act in the special meeting on December 26th.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, I'd ask Chuck, I thought we talked about that. Do we need a non-disclosure? I thought we already had something in place.
well, let's get the agenda approved, okay?
I think,
Well, I need
Mr.
that.
Supervisor, you have 2 motions and 2 seconds, so one came before the other.
Yeah.
You got to address in that order.
So,
Herman moved to
To
approve the
ag- yep,
agenda
and
as
we have a second?
presented,
I
and
second
Jennifer second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
So the agenda's approved. All right,
So can we act on the second one then? To add these 3?
I mean, does the board feel that we need to add these to a future agenda? It can't be added to this one, but do we need to add an NDA to a future agenda?
My understanding of the status of the NDA was that trustee Ropetta was going to fill us in trustee Haas's absence in terms of what that request was for. And I'll confess, I don't fully understand what the purpose of that was, or what the purpose of the request was. So without other information, I mean, the board voted on it.
Yeah,
I
I mean-
don't see why we would revisit it.
I agree with Zach.
I'm not in favor of revisiting. We made a decision, we voted on it.
All right, what about the attendance? Do we,
If we're talking about board attendance, that is our business. If we're talking about planning commission, that is not our business. They are in charge of their own bylaws. They have no attendance policy in their bylaws, and that is up to them and them only to have that.
yeah, I mean, our position is if we don't like their attendance, we just don't reappoint them. Pretty simple. So again, I don't see any reason to add that to a future agenda. And then, again, the
Again,
third item.
these are to discuss, these are discussion
Again, the
points.
third item. What was the third item you wanted?
Can I make a statement then? Then if we're not going to discuss a policy as far as attendance for us, I'd appreciate if the planning commission would quit making comments about people missing board members. Or board members missing meetings. Several people commented on the fact I wasn't here at the last meeting, and how Haas never attends. If we're not going to have, again, if there isn't one, and we're not going to have one, then can we please stop
Dean.
all of the derogatory
Dean, do you
statements?
know how much social media crap gets printed about me?
I don't care.
I
don't care.
well, I'm
I'm going to
sorry.
ask that if they want that consideration, they should give the same to us.
I agree.
That's all I'm asking. Okay?
I agree.
Okay.
I totally agree. Okay, the last item, the third item again, Chris, the board, you were asking about,
Well, Chuck was asked a question by a resident at the last meeting regarding whether the special meeting held on the 26th violated the Open Meetings Act by voting on topics that were not included in the agenda of the special meeting.
and this is important because,
Because it's a violation of the open.
hey,
It,
nobody asked your opinion. Your chance is coming.
So it's important because I want to know as a trustee whether that I wasn't in attendance, did the board violate the Open Meetings Act or not? That's important.
I kind of agree, Greg. I mean, I think it is important to know whether we're violating board meeting rules. I mean, obviously, for future reference,
You don't want to ask that opinion of me in an open setting.
Okay, there you go. There's your answer.
Well, that doesn't mean we should not have an answer. So the answer is will you provide an answer?
No.
All right, so we have an approved agenda. I'm looking at the
There it
approval of the
is.
consent agenda. Township Board minutes, meeting minutes, January 20th, 2026. And the clerk's warrants and bills, January 28th, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jennifer,
Opposed?
Jennifer.
No.
Motion carries. Communications to receive and place on file. The monthly budget report, December 31st, 2025.
I just have a couple questions. I'm curious what DPW is.
Department of
Or in
Works.
public safety, we have two of them. Public safety's $487,889. Am I reading that correct?
Yeah, public safety is your fire runs and your police, yes.
So we're spending $500,000 a year for fire and police?
That's your fire runs, correct me if I'm wrong. That is your fire runs, our police that we.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
We're spending $500,000 a year,
Yes.
Yes.
plus our tax money.
Your tax money, what are you talking about?
Property tax.
Your property taxes don't go to public, except for the $175 in your special assessment.
Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
$75 per
Yes.
resident times how many homes in Tyrone Township?
I think too, that we're not spending that. That's the money we're collecting, but there's a surplus as reported back in March 31st of 1.2 million, something north, 1.18 million, a surplus in that fund for public safety. So we're not watching that fund to see if anything needs to be returned to taxpayers, which is part of the budget discussion, so.
And what about the DPW? We pay DPW? Because we don't have a DPW, so I'm curious what that money goes out for.
That was on your special assessments. Jane Hill, Walnut Showers, so I believe that is snow removal?
It's
And
what-
road
Snow
maintenance.
removal.
Snow removal.
So it's their
removal
special
and road
assessment.
So they
maintenance.
charge, we pay them through the assessment we take it from?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's all I want to know, that's fine. Yep, that makes sense.
I've had one quick one that's small, but what's liquor law enforcement? I don't understand why we're and this money comes from the state revenue, $2,400.
Yes.
But who's enforcing that from the township, and what are we
Our
spending that?
officers. Our
So
officers.
we give it to them to enforce?
Well, actually, we were giving it to them, and then we had made a discovery that we don't have to because we pay for their services. So we were passing those monies from the state on to them. So my understanding is it's for liquor licenses, where they have to go out and make sure they're doing what they do, or they have to reapply every year. So whatever money's coming in, the township, to the state, the township gets a little bucket of that. So now, going forward, those monies will be included in our public safety funds. Those will not be passed on to Livingston County Sheriff's Department, as they were in years prior. So
We
those
just found
funds
that
will
out.
stay within
Okay.
our,
Okay.
I just have never heard that we're enforcing liquor laws,
Yeah,
but
well,
We are not.
now we are,
We just-
to the tune of $2,400 a year.
yeah,
that was,
Okay.
yeah.
That was all the question I had,
Yep.
so.
That's a new one, good one. That was new. For-
So I move to receive and place on file the communications as presented.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right, public remarks, agenda items only.
Brad Swartz, Linden Road. I appreciate your honesty earlier, Mr. Tucker, regarding the NDAs. I'm just up here to speak about that.
Well, that's not on the agenda.
Well, you approved last meeting's minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the minutes were on the agenda. You also discussed it with the planning
We
commission.
need to wait till the last public remarks.
It's on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
Well, look, how is it not on the agenda if it's on last meeting's minutes that you guys just approved, which were on the
You
agenda?
know what? I'm not gonna split hairs with you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. So, it's not gonna be long, I promise, Greg. When it comes to the NDAs, requiring the public to FOIA if a board member or a planning commission member has an NDA with someone looking to do business with the township, I think that puts kind of an undue burden, an unnecessary burden on the township residents to have to then come in, once a week or once every 2 weeks and FOIA to see if there's an NDA on file. So it's really important to me, and there's a lot of research and a lot of, and an article coming out this Saturday in the Tri-County Times that kind of backs up. I know I only got 2 minutes up here, but I'm just really passionate about having our open government be open government and having that be as accessible and transparent as possible. So if you were to go, say, sign an NDA like happened in Howell with Meta, it would be on you, the onus of the board member, to then let the rest of the board in the township know that you have that NDA, as opposed to me, Bradley, coming once a week and asking if you do, if that makes sense. So, and I think most people up here agree that public business should be done in a public setting, not only legally, but I mean morally, ethically. So I think a grave mistake was made last week when it comes to you guys voting down the requirement of at least a disclosure of an NDA. I have disagreements with certain people of if you can prohibit an NDA. I don't think that you can. That would be a question for our sterling attorney over here, but at least the disclosure of those NDAs is important to me, and that's all. On a second topic, I know you guys are going to discuss the public comment, the splitting, whether it's 1 or 2. I wish I wasn't here right now, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know if that public comment would come at the end or the beginning. It's not clear as to what the proposal is. But when you guys have meetings that go to 9, 10, sometimes 11 o'clock, that's a huge onus on the residents to sit here and wait. I've got kids. We've all got jobs. There could be 12,000 people in here all at the same time, and we don't want, which would be their right? But I certainly would never, not that I do unless something is extremely important to me, I never come and make a public comment, but the NDA thing is important to me, and I can tell you, if you made me come at 11 o'clock at night to tell you how important that was, I might just send an email, and maybe that's good with you, but for transparency's purposes, I know most of you ran on transparency and accountability, and I know you care about what the residents have to say. There's a lot of content experts out here who can bring good perspective into your meetings, so thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah.
I wanted to, Jody Kelly, I wanted to come up next because my topic is NDA that you voted on at the last meeting. And in addition to his comments, there is legislation right now that was from State Representative Miller 2 months ago to end these NDAs, to ban them. And her reasoning for that is that they tend to follow a pattern of developers getting what they want locally before word gets out on what is happening. And by the time the residents find out about the process. It's already too late, and they're moving forward, and it's just damage control from the township, city, or village and the developer. We are told it's been rezoned and it's a done deal. So those are other reasons why you probably shouldn't have voted for that. I don't know how much research, how much thought went into it, but, you know, to vote to not want to be transparent or discuss data centers with the people that put you in office just is almost like a slap in the face. I can't even imagine why you would want to do that. And there wasn't much thought put into the vote. I mean, what I remember is you asked the attorney, his answers weren't in depth. There was really no explanation on why you should do it, other than he said, you might not want to remove that tool. That's another tool in your toolbox. Well, a tool to not discuss or be transparent with the community is not a very good tool. And, you know, your other comment, I'm trying to remember what you said, but it wasn't sufficient. You said, would a FOIA override a NDA? And you said it probably wouldn't. That's not probably. I mean, it either does or it doesn't. And, you know, I know the Tri-County Times said that you affirmed that a FOIA would override an NDA. It was never affirmed. You said probably. And then, after those two reasons, you all voted yes. Like, and then there's lots of information about it. Did any of you even read anything about it before you voted?
Yeah, Jim?
So I'm not here to yell at anybody this time. I'm here to challenge you, something that's very important to me and my wife. So I hope you'll listen. I don't typically do this, but I wrote this because it's important enough to me. I want to stay on topic, so I'm just going to read it. I take note every meeting that we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. In that pledge, we pledge one nation under God. I take this to heart. I hope you all do as well. My wife and I were strongly troubled to learn that the health care plan adopted by our township board includes an option to cover abortion costs. To be clear, abortion is the snuffing out of human life created in God's image. Oftentimes, as unborn children literally physically fight for their lives. I question how any person can claim an allegiance to God while endorsing or funding this practice. I feel an obligation to share a couple things that the God I pledge allegiance to has to say on this matter. Psalms 127:3 said, "Children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward." I think that's pretty clear. Jeremiah says, "I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou came forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." Before he came out of the womb. There's many other scriptures that show that God places great value on children even before they leave their mother's womb. God has never given any man any authority for any reason to snuff out the lives of children created in his image. In fact, the Bible says in Proverbs that hands that shed innocent blood are an abomination to him. If you look up an abomination, it's defined as something that's disgusting or repugnant. If the blood of unborn children isn't the perfect example of innocent blood, I don't know what is. Voting to adopt a health care plan that pays to enable this repugnant practice is saying one is okay with it. As for me and my house, we are not, because God is not. God has allowed each of you to be in the positions you hold, and the choice is yours to make. But I strongly encourage you to follow the leadership of Chris Rapetta and reconsider this disgusting option to your health care. And the bottom line, you as well as me, every one of you, Bible tells me I'm going to give account for every idle word that I speak. That's scary as heck to me. But this is one thing I will fight tooth and nail against, and I don't want it on my record when I stand before God. And I would consider that, every one of you.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else?
Hi. You know, the issue with the NDAs, the problem I have is everybody I shouldn't say everybody, the 5 members who decided to submarine, even discussing it. It ties into something I brought up in the past, and where we're at in the township, actually. The idea with the NDAs is similar to what I had mentioned in the past, that I think you guys need to pass some form of policy where board members, whether on the planning commission, zoning board, your board, should discuss and turn around and provide to the public what business, they're in, and affiliations with other businesses within the township. To me, it's just great for transparency. The problem I have is we have too many things that have gone on in this township, and I know I've seen a lot of it. And it's been, and a lot of people, and there's talk, it's been done through backdoor means. And people run to cover their hides. I think a lot of that, if things were done out in the open and transparent, there wouldn't be so much distrust amongst people within our local government. One of the examples I have, or one of the issues I have is, and especially when we start talking about these data center issues and people not disclosing what their lines of business are. I know we have a board member that mentioned that he is involved in a business based out of Israel. It's a tech company. But nobody can tell you what he does. He won't disclose what he does. So is this something, when he's on the board, that he may be a person that's going to be involved in the data centers? I'd like to know. I'd like to know, and I'd like for him to disclose so I can know what goes on. That's the idea with the NDAs. And by not enacting the NDAs, all you do is you continue to put more hurdles forth for people to have to jump through. And unfortunately, you create more work for yourself by turning around and doing it, by making people come in and file for FOIAs all the time. And lastly, I know Mr. I'm sorry, I forgot his name now. But our esteemed chairman of the Planning Commission, while he's here, I'd ask him, why doesn't he propose an attendance policy? You say you're going to remove people that don't meet the attendance policy, but here you just put them right back on here not too long ago. You're rewarding incompetence. So if you guys can't do it and it's theirs, I'd like to see him step forward and do it.
Jeanette Ropetta, Tyrone Township resident. At the last meeting, the majority of this board voted to accept a health insurance policy for employees. Trustee Haas was not present, so he did not vote. Trustee Ropetta was here and he voted against it based on the fact, and he said out loud, that the selected plan provides abortion services to township employees. I'd like to know who selected that plan. Thank you, Chris, for speaking up, for exposing this and voting against providing abortions to township employees. And I'd also like to thank Jim Combs, a resident who just stood up now and let you know what God's word says. And I'm noticing that most of you can't look at me. 5 of you, 5 board members, ignored that abortions were listed as one of the services provided to township employees. You all voted in favor of that. Now, I'm sure there's many residents who are Christians in Tyrone Township that didn't realize that their tax dollars can be used to pay for abortions. And every one of those Christians likely would say, it's not about the money. It's about going against God, destroying his beautiful creation, babies. Did any of you listen to Jim? I realize that if you're not a Christian, if you're not a follower of Jesus Christ, if you don't know what his word says, or if you're listening to some woke pastor telling you that everything you want to hear, including that murdering an unborn baby is A-okay, then this comment probably won't get your attention. In fact, some of you will laugh, roll your eyes, or even refuse to look at me as I speak about this right now. Can't even look at me, can you? Just know this, God will not be mocked. Please think about what you voted for. Please know there are babies out there in Tyrone Township, maybe now or in the near future, whose lives will be ended in the most brutal, disgusting, and painful way, being ripped out of their mother's wombs, and you all voted for that. I'm going to take the rest of my comment to pray to our Heavenly Father to ask for his mercy on this township, to help those mothers and fathers who feel they have no other choice, who feel they should do what their township board endorsed. And I'm praying that they would turn to our Heavenly Father and spare that baby's life. And if there is a mother or father out there struggling with this, I urge them to contact me, because I will do everything I can, anything I can, to help save that baby's life. So for those believers who are here, I ask that you bow your heads and join me in this silent prayer and pray for God's protection for those precious babies.
Amen.
Amen. Any other? All right. Oh, Scott?
Scott Dietrich, White Lake Road. I just want to say that John does a wonderful job at the Planning Commission meetings. So thanks, John, for being who he is. Okay. In regards to this second public comment, it kind of upsets me a little bit, but I understand where it comes from. We are inundated with constant arguing. I want discussion from all my board members, but we are inundated with constant, just repeatedly from Chris, dragging these meetings on, arguing, and bringing about things we've already voted down. Bringing people to the meeting from other townships with misinformation. We all remember the guy from Raisin Township that was supposed to defeated the solar panels, and we found out, hey, they surrendered to him. So it's a shame that Chris occupies so much time at these meetings and these other people come in and occupy so much of our time that he's gonna have the floor the whole time. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it's really sad. It's really sad. I mean, I don't want to try to keep people from making public comments, but it just seems like the interruptions from behind you constantly. And in regards to the abortion, I don't like abortions. I know it was just brought up here, but I am a firm believer in separation of church and state. And I consider myself a Christian. And I know it's a tough decision for you guys to make. And I don't want to put myself in a position where I was in. We don't know what those positions those women are in. We don't know. Were they raped? I mean, is it medical? I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, I don't have to live with it. It's God's job to judge, not me. Okay? It's God's job. I mean, I'm going to be the best person I can be, but we all have to answer to God. But there ain't nobody in here that hasn't sinned, and we know that. So if that's a sin, I guess, we'll let them deal with God when the time comes. So I just hope we could learn to respect each other for that opinion and make sure people are healthy. And hopefully it gets better in the future, that we don't have rapes. And God can make sure that babies come out perfect, and and people can afford babies. We all know that it's hard because once the babies are born, we're finding out that they're lacking food. They're going hungry. If we could spend more time making sure they don't go hungry, maybe we wouldn't be in this position. And we don't spend enough time on that.
Anybody else? All right, let's move into unfinished business. I would like to recommend we remove fund balance policy amendments from unfinished business and just keep it the way it is.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We need to do a
Roll
roll call.
Roll call. Yeah, it's
Greg Carnes?
here.
I was just curious, is a roll call required for
Yes,
that
it was a
motion?
resolution.
There is no
It's a
resolution in place. That resolution expired in 2017, so there's no resolution. But I'm just asking for procedural.
yes. It's a resolution. Greg Carnes?
Here.
We know you're here.
So are we keeping, I have a question.
Yeah.
We're keeping this one, so
Yes,
we're
just what he
redoing the
said.
date?
Yep.
We're just
keeping
redoing
this
the
one?
date.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you were confused
Yeah.
about.
That's not.
No, that's not what we're-
That's not what
no.
we just did, no, it's
No.
not.
Okay.
But what we just did is just remove from the agenda.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And keep it as it is, which we can't because it doesn't exist.
It doesn't
It
exist.
expired
We can keep
as it
the
says
amount
in
as it is
2017.
with the resolution. That's why it's a resolution.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
going to
that's what she was
remove
saying.
it from unfinished business, but keep it at the cost that it is in there.
It's
But
just
it
gonna
is
stay
now
there.
a resolution for us to vote on tonight with this date.
Right. We're gonna remove it from unfinished business. That's my motion.
And,
So for that, we don't need roll call.
No,
But you want to
that's
extend
all I was
this
saying.
existing one.
yes.
You're making
Yeah.
two motions.
Yeah, I would like to
Well,
keep that
yeah.
one in place.
You're not making two motions, you're just removing it from unfinished business. You're stating that, but it would be removed from unfinished business because we're finishing the
Oh.
business tonight with the resolution, with the date. It's the
So-
same
So
amount.
let's forget about the unfinished business removal because it's not. He wants to make a motion to accept this and extend this resolution, which
Yes.
would take it out of unfinished
Yes.
business.
Correct.
Which would be completed.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, that's a whole different motion.
All right.
that's what I want to do.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
But-
So
Next time say
Greg
that.
resolved, I seconded.
But wait a minute, there's no data point in that resolution for the fund balance. There's no percentage, which is the whole question. It's just a value that was an instrument done at that time. The-
Yes, and it's worked for all these years, and
It's not worked. There's been no resolution since it expired in 2017.
And when this was done, we didn't have a fund balance that we have today. We had some idea of how to work with that fund balance, not just to keep letting it grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. I mean, what is it currently?
500,000.
How much?
500,000.
500,000.
No, we have over 7 million in unallocated monies in the bank.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the resolution.
The
That's what we're
resolution is
talking
for
about.
500.
It's for 500,000. We're saying that we will commit 500,000 of fund balance in General Fund 101 to cover cash flow shortages due to late in the year tax collections. And we're changing those years to the current year, from April 1 through March 31, April 1 of this year.
2026.
Well, that's not been part of the discussions. Part of the discussions even with Casey was, that I clarified with him, is the fund balance we're talking about is the amount of cash that we keep in the bank for contingency planning in general. And we called it the contingency fund. This is very specific, and that was a percentage we were talking about, not a value.
And I don't think we can do it the way you want either, because we would still not have a resolution if you're not going to implement it till March, because this one's already expired. So we would have to do it from today's date, correct? And if we wanted a resolution if we want a current resolution, we have to pass the resolution effective today, because we
No, we're
currently
going
don't
by
not
our
have one.
fiscal year, which is April 1 of 2026 through March 31st
So
of
we will have
2027.
no resolution covering from now until then.
Well, this is what we've been doing.
But it doesn't matter,
Since then.
it's expired.
I mean-
It says right on it, through March 31st, 2017.
Yes. Well-
It's expired, it no longer exists.
Correct.
Right,
So
and we just want to make it
We're gonna
exist.
make a new one starting in March, or April, whatever.
April 1.
April 1.
But are you suggesting we've allocated $500,000 each year since 2017, even without a resolution? I'm just asking.
Well, we've never had to utilize it, so I don't know what purpose it serves, because
Well-
we've not
Well,
had to
then,
use it.
let's
but-
get rid
Then let's get rid of
of it
it.
altogether.
If we don't need it, why have it?
I mean, obviously, we don't need it because it's expired in 2017, we haven't done nothing with it. We haven't updated it, we haven't
There-
voted on it, we haven't looked at it. I mean, it clearly states
We-
through March 31st, 2017.
We can do that. I've talked to several townships, they don't have one. That's why we can't get a percentage for a new one. Townships don't have one. So I mean, if you want to make a motion,
To just
There
remove
is
it
a motion.
Just to remove it from the agenda is all,
Yeah.
not fix it.
yes.
Okay. We don't even have to make a motion, we can just decide to remove it, right?
And then we will not have, okay. Yeah, because this was expired, we don't have one
Okay,
today.
so what we would need to do is make a motion to remove it from unfinished business.
Okay.
Which Greg did.
Still make that motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to change what we're doing. There's no reason to change what we're doing. It's worked fine.
Okay,
I mean,
we don't have it, so
Yeah.
Don't have
nothing
anything.
has worked
Yeah, we have
perfectly
no-
fine.
And it's
I
worked
agree.
fine, hasn't it?
Agreed. Nothing works
Okay,
perfectly fine.
so,
Okay.
I mean,
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We'll do a roll call vote. Greg Carnes,
yes,
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Dean Haas,
No,
Pam Offler, yes. Chris Repetta,
No,
Zach Tucker.
Yes.
So that was to remove the fund balance policy from unfinished business.
and by the way, just to clarify, we can have a roll call vote on everything. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
law against it. I
Right.
just was curious, just to remove something from the agenda, didn't seem to require a recall vote. That's all I was saying, traditionally, but I don't
Okay.
mind.
we could have technically done it at the beginning without the
Absolutely.
agenda,
Sure.
but yeah.
unfinished business item number 2, the truck ordinance. I included most of my documents that I've put together. I really have not visited this in the last couple months, as I've been working on the burning ordinance and other items. And again, I've come to the same conclusion that I'm not sure there's anything we really need to change or can change in the current truck ordinance. So,
Can I add something?
Yep.
I mean, I think what Greg's trying to say here is we can change anything we want. We could literally say we have no truck routes, but it means nothing. The state of Michigan and Livingston County, their thought on this is that every truck driver out there pays road taxes and has the right to use any road they want. The purpose of truck road routes are for truckers who don't know the area and want to make sure they can get from point A to point B with minimal amount of obstacles. In other words, roads that are they could get through with what they're carrying. There's no roads that are designated no trucks, which is the only way to keep a truck off of a road. It has to be designated non-truck route, which you drive around, you see it occasionally, especially in the city of Fenton, they'll tell you no trucks allowed. That's the only way to stop a truck from going down the road, period. So what he's saying by there's not really much we can do, that's what I believe he's talking about. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but basically what there's, and I've talked quite in depth with Livingston County Road Commission about this, and they're like, if they pay road taxes on the road, they have the right to use it, just like everybody else. And I also asked them about getting designation of no trucks, and they basically told me you can try, but it's almost impossible. So, again, it's not a good way to be. It's not what I wanted to hear, but unfortunately, it is what it is, and there's not much we can do about it.
all the truck route signs we have in this township are suggested truck routes. And that is just what it is. It's a suggested truck route.
Again, it's guaranteeing that if they drive a truck down it, they can get to where they want to go without obstacles or having to get in a position they can't maneuver.
So again, I would like to make a motion to remove that from unfinished business and not.
Well, before you do we want to just continue the discussion? I mean,
Yeah, we can.
You didn't ask for anybody else's opinion?
Yeah, we can.
Okay,
We can have a
because
discussion.
in one of the documents that you included, the GBM Sand and Gravel LLC final July 2017, which is pretty recent.
Yep.
On number 17 in that document says roadway improvements. The permit holder, that's the gravel pit, in Deerfield, agrees to establish a haul route infrastructure escrow fund with the permit holder, the township, and the road commission as parties to the escrow to complete improvements according to the reasonable specifications of the Livingston County Road Commission that will enhance its safety in light of the anticipated increase in gravel tractor-trailer truck traffic in accordance with the special haul route interim permit dated June 12th of 97, as revised by the Road Commission. Do we know how much money is in this escrow, and would it be able to help fund paving the road rather than just leaving it gravel, which is the huge annoyance of the residents that I've talked to, a couple of them here in the room, is could it be paved with funds from that escrow account or other things, and possibly as an alternative. I disagree with the fact that we've explored every option. I think even our attorney said there's no likelihood that a legal option would be possible or be in our favor, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't explore it either. After 20 years, that was even the recommendation of Gerald Fisher, The attorney said that, yeah, you can explore whether that could be
Oh, yeah.
challenged. So I think I disagree with the characterization that there's nothing we can do about it. But there's two suggestions. One is talk to Gerald Fisher again. Number two, look at paving the road and how much is in that escrow account and how could that support that kind of activity as a discussion point.
Yeah, I've had those discussions with the road commission. I can't tell you how much is in the escrow fund, as far as paving the road. I guess if you want to approach the road commission for yourself, so you can hear what I have heard, and you can get it firsthand, I will set you up with the people to talk to about paving the road and.
I can tell you the cost of paving the road right now, depending on the base, it starts at $3 million per mile.
Yeah.
How many miles are we talking about?
That I don't know. I don't know but it's $3 million per mile for paving a gravel road right now. I just had that conversation today.
Okay, well, I think to honor the residents who are suffering
We can
through
look into
it,
see how much money's
it
there.
would be a good idea to see how much money, that's my first question, is in the escrow.
Yeah.
Talking to the county about how much it would cost to upgrade the road surface to a point of where it's not being a nuisance, is then communicating that to the residents, and as well as to see if there's any other legal reprieves that could compel the gravel pit to pay a portion of that paving as well, since they're the primary users of that road, are all things to explore.
Would you like to take that on?
Sure.
All right.
And can I talk to Gerald Fisher?
I will set you up with the contacts.
Okay,
I will.
so that's an approval that I can reach out to our special counsel from an extractive industrial.
Yep.
Okay.
I will set you up with the road commission contacts.
Thank you. And thank you, Dean, for
Set you
meeting
up
with them,
with GBM, the owner there, and the township supervisor for Deerfield, all the people you need to talk to.
Perfect, thank you.
Do you want to, I don't know if we want to leave that on unfinished business, or do
that's
you want
more-
to just work on that, or do you want to?
I don't think that, I think what we're talking about now is, I don't think it has really anything to do with the actual truck route ordinance. I think we can, and I mean, tell if I'm wrong, that's kind of an irrelevant, right? Because the ordinance change isn't going to help what we're, and I'll be happy to work with you on that, Chris, too.
Okay, thank you.
But I don't think it's going to make a difference, you know what I mean? The fund balance, if that's going to be outside of any ordinance we've got.
So both of those
let's just-
items we can
probably-
remove.
I say we can remove them at this point, yeah. Yeah, I have no problem with that. And do you want a motion to do that, or do you have one?
Please.
I'll make a motion to remove the truck route discussion off of old business.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? All right, so those two items are off the unfinished business. All right. And thank you for taking those on, taking that on. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm frustrated that I can't move it.
Yeah.
Good luck. All right, new business. Adoption of the guidelines for granting poverty exemptions from property taxes. Again, we,
I do have some discussion points too.
okay, well, we just follow the state regulations regarding this. And, your questions, discussion? Go ahead.
I do.
Sure thing, Chris.
hand up worked pretty good too. Thank you. One is that I'm still waiting because the same discussion came up last year, and Clerk Mogler promised me.
Moffler.
Thank you. Promised me information about increasing communications, cost of MailChimp, because the excuse was that MailChimp doesn't allow us to send out mass communications to try to reach a broader group of people who might qualify for this poverty exemption. And I'm asking that we revisit the way we're communicating. I believe we're doing an absolute bare minimum of posting it for the state and not reaching out. I mean, we have lots of information about people who we could target market to, the communications. I mean, there's plenty of databases out there, as well as including everybody with a special flyer announcement in not only in our quarterly or news, is our newsletter quarterly?
2 times a year.
2 times a year, sorry, biannually. I think that's what you're semi-annually. Anyway, twice a year. But I think we need to improve that by either highlighting it on the front page of our website that this is available to residents. I understand also, remember, Jennifer, you had mentioned last year not too many people apply for it. And I am always concerned that we're just not reaching all the people, and that might be a reason why not as many people are applying for it. So I would like to see some more discussion on whether we can improve communications, proactive communication around the poverty exemption out to the community.
I think there's not so many people who apply because the threshold is very low. And in Livingston County,
In this township,
in our
especially.
township, we have the bare minimum, I would say 2 housing developments that I can think of that may qualify, but they're not paying taxes. So these thresholds that are set by the state or federal is low. So no matter how much you advertise it, if someone is in need of help, they come to the township and they ask.
Yeah,
And we only have one that I recall that qualifies or that has come forward. I think our resources could be used otherwise if people need help. They know where to come. If they question it, board of review, they get those assessments in February. They contact, the assessor saying they agree with it, they don't agree with it, and she explains all of that then if they're in question of that. So putting it online, people aren't even gonna know what that is.
And it is on our website.
Yeah, it is on our website.
But I
In a couple
understand,
spots.
yeah, I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with your characterization of how many people have taken advantage. Thank you for pointing out again that the assessor handles those discussions, but I'm talking about, there are things still in this township that we do that, as a trustee, I don't even know about it, and I've been here 10 years because of one reason or another. I'm just saying proactive communication by sticking something on a website doesn't cost us a single penny. That's one way to do it, put it on the front page. There's no cost to that. And the effort to our township residents to reach out doesn't go, doesn't come back void, in my opinion, because we're making an effort on behalf of the residents. I think the more we don't make an effort to communicate in any way possible, we continue to show the residents that they're just, if you know something, contact us. If you don't know it, contact us. I don't know. I just think that's short-sighted, in my opinion.
And on behalf of the county treasurer, when properties go delinquent, which we have not had any in years, this information is also given to them, poverty exemption, but the assessor would catch it ahead of time of it going delinquent, so.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just talking about proactive communication, so. But
I'll make a motion for the adoption of guidelines for granting poverty exemptions from property taxes.
Support.
Roll call vote?
Greg Carnes,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes?
Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Dean Haas,
This is just on the policy, correct?
yes.
Can you repeat your motion, please? I'm
The
sorry,
adoption of guidelines for granting poverty exemptions from property taxes.
okay.
That's the
That's just
resolution.
approving the guidelines.
Yes.
The resolution that's in our board packet.
Chris Repetta,
Yes.
Pam Offler, yes. Zach Tucker,
Yes.
Am I going to go another year
All
for
right,
mail chip?
motion carries.
Can I get that data, please?
New business item number 2, public comment policy adjustment. In an effort to streamline these board meetings and make them more efficient, brought to my attention from board members that we should investigate going into one single public remark. Did some checking on it, and we don't have to have 2 public remarks. We only have to have 1.
Greg, I understand we only have to have 1, but I think we should still have 2. And I believe that as we start doing our job better, the public comments will become better, they'll become shorter, and they'll be more informational. I think part of the problem and part of the reason that our public comments are so bad right now is because our poor performance in the past, over the past year. And I hope to see that improve this year. I believe we need to give them every opportunity to speak and to let us know what they're thinking on all the issues, not just agenda issues, but again, additional issues we may bring up, comments. We still have a whole nother issue with, miscellaneous business that may be, I just really believe that as much as we don't maybe like what they're saying, as much as we don't really want to hear what they're saying, and maybe there's some duplicate, maybe we should take that as they're passionate about it and they want to make sure we understand. And again, I think as we do our job better, I think that whole scenario will take care of itself. As I felt along with our policy for, so that's just my feeling. I think that, if we do our better job, we won't have an issue with it.
I think that's a valid point. Anybody else?
Yes, I'd like to say that, the board must make the most of the time that it spends together, and we have a duty to conduct the important business of the township in an orderly and timely manner. So that's my first comment. I'd also like to see meeting procedures updated to focus on efficiency while maintaining opportunity for public input at the beginning of the meeting. That way, residents can be speaking on agenda items or whatever they may choose, but prior to us voting.
On stuff that's in the new business.
Yes, so at the first public comment time, they can speak about the agenda or anything else. 3 minutes is quite lengthy to make their point. We're available Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. Any one of us in the office, the staff is there.
I don't know about you
Questions and
trustees,
concerns?
but the 3 of us are available.
Yeah, you're available during business hours, and most people work. Most people have jobs.
We're not only available
And
9 to 5.
I think taking away their right to
people
speak is
call me.
wrong. I'm sorry. I just don't.
It's
I-
not
it is
taking
our
away
meeting
their
to
right
conduct
to
business,
speak.
But this is their community. It's not ours. We're here to conduct business, but it's theirs. They're the people we're supposed to be supporting and working for. They don't work for us, we work for them. And I think they should have every right at the beginning and the end, because at the beginning they're making comments on what they feel for the day. At the end, they're commenting on what we've done and how we've conducted ourselves up here at the end by the end of the meeting.
I'd also like to add that public comment at the beginning of the meeting doesn't give any opportunity for public comment about the discussion that takes place from the board during the meeting. I mean, great. You know, nobody's an expert. Even the board members aren't experts until we have these discussions. And to not have to be able to allow the public chance to give feedback on the discussions that just took place at the end is also part of what Dean's saying. It's a disservice to the public, and we serve the public. I agree with Dean on that. And also the act, MCL, as you've provided, the MCL 15.263, the public must have at least one opportunity to speak publicly at the opening of the meeting, at least one, not only one. The public must have at least. Now, if you want to limit it to one, I think there's plenty of law that supports that you can, but that's just limiting public opinion and comment covered under the OMA where the public can be here, and all of those things of having an open meeting to keep transparency alive. And so I'm a complete proponent of having at least one. I want two, at least, maybe even three, but two's good for me. 3 minutes is not even long enough. I'd rather go to 5. And I would also promote that that we could, that anything else is just telling the public that you really aren't interested in their opinion or their viewpoints.
I've thought about this since the last meeting a lot, and I've struggled with this since the last meeting a lot. I'm hesitant to take away the second public comment. However, it appears that more often than not, it's used as an avenue for an attack, which is a problem in addition to the efficiency concerns that were raised before. And I've struggled with the concept of what other way we could use to address that problem. I haven't been able to come up with a better answer. I don't know if anybody has a better answer that would address those concerns. But sitting here right now, I don't feel like there's a better way, and I think it's a change that we probably need to make, unfortunately.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I've seen this the last over a year, and this is a circus. We have to do something to stop it. Dean, you're right. We have to do a better job, but you know what? Everybody does. And it's a temporary thing. I think most public comments tonight were good. I'd like to see more of that. You know, and for sitting down here for over a year, listening to this, I say we start with one, and if everything is better, then we can reinstate it. But my feeling is we're going to go with one. That's the way I feel. And we didn't take it away.
I'm sorry, state that last thing again?
We didn't take it away. We didn't take it away.
Well, that's about what you're saying you
No,
want to do.
no, well,
Absolutely.
No, we are taking it away.
You are taking, it takes a board
Well,
vote
you know
to
what?
take it away.
We'll see what
That means
happens.
we.
We'll
That
see
means
what
we.
happens, Chris,
So, okay,
okay?
all right.
Because I'm tired of the circus. I really am.
Did you have any comments, Jennifer?
I do. We have such little time as a board altogether. All of our decisions, and we have to conduct business at this table. And when we're listening to attacks, I don't think that is always the best way. We have to remember that under the OMA, the only place, the board can do business is at a public meeting. And board meetings are for board business. They're not a discussion, they're not a back and forth, they're not a question and answer. And it's in the best interest of the township as a whole that we conduct it in an organized, productive manner, and we haven't been doing that. The public can interact with the township anytime. They can call us, like Clerk.
Like I said.
Yeah, both of you said that.
I
We're
mean-
here Monday through Thursday. Call us, email us. That's how you get your questions answered. It's not here. This is for board business. They're to comment on board items and not be attacking one of the board members or other residents. And I think that's where it's being misused.
Well, if there's
no further discussion, I make a motion.
I
that we vote
do
on
have
it.
one other reply, but my experience even at the beginning of this meeting was that I emailed 2 board members to add things to the agenda and got 0 response, and I'm a trustee. If that's how we're conducting business and how you suggest in the office you're going to reply to our residents, then I think we've got a serious, serious problem. So the idea that, oh, you can just come in and ask us questions or email us, no, this is a history of lack of communication reflected, at least on me, from my opinion, and I think that's wrong.
We discussed adding your items to the agenda.
No, you didn't reply to my email, Greg. That's my point. And why would a public expect you to reply to their email? The answer is they wouldn't, because that's seems to be the way you guys do business. You say one thing and you do something different, so that's my opinion.
So we're talking about a public comment period after the communications on the board agenda?
Well, the first
Before you
public
vote, if you vote this in to reduce it to 1, when are you expecting it to start?
Next meeting. All right?
I would put that in the motion.
Immediately.
Yep.
I would put that in the motion.
Well, you can't do it immediately because you'd have to revoke the second public
You
comment.
can do it the next meeting, I said.
So you would, in your motion, say February 20th
Is that the
February
next meeting?
17th
or 17th, I'm sorry. Yep,
You have it right.
February 17th.
Motion.
It would take effect February 17th. Board meeting.
Then you still leave it to 3 minutes?
Mhm.
And it can be
I'm-
on any,
Yeah.
And it would
Right.
be,
Any
yeah,
comment?
All right.
not be on
you would take the agenda
items.
items only off.
I resolve to adopt the policy change for a single 3-minute public comment period following communications on board agendas beginning February 17, 2026.
Support.
Roll call?
Greg Carnes,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes?
Herman Ferguson,
Definitely yes.
Dean Haas,
No.
Pam Moffler, yes. Chris Repetta,
You guys don't want to get reelected, do you? But no, absolutely not.
Zach Tucker,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Moving on to new business number 3, approval to retain special legal counsel for the data center zoning regulations.
Are you opening up for discussion?
Yes, we should have some discussion.
I think we need to interview at minimum 2, but better 3 different law firms for expertise and identify them in addition to Foster Swift.
Do you have them, and who do you think these other ones are?
This is a discussion to add to it. I don't have anybody on my mind. I haven't done any research, but I'm asking us that we extend, not vote on this tonight, but to do some research as a group or on additional firms that may have expertise as well.
I did a little bit of checking, but yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I did gather from the planning commission that we do have a little bit of time.
Right.
Did you guys get that too?
Mhm, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we get multiple bids for projects all the time. I think this one's so important
think that-
to get the right firm and that's.
I think this is the right firm. I think it transitions in well from the MMA that we worked with them on, but I'm
Zach, do you have an opinion with working with Foster Swift?
I thought Laura did a great job on MMA. I enjoyed working with her. She really knew that stuff. So and I would have no reservations whatsoever to work with Foster Swift again. I mean, their circular certainly promotes the idea that they have expertise in this area, which you don't see out of very many law firms.
Right.
I also, however, have no opposition. I would agree that the planning commission doesn't necessarily need this in place today. So if there's other good candidates out there, you know, they certainly would be worthy of consideration, so.
And just to clarify, I have no opposition to Foster Swift. I've enjoyed working with them.
Yep.
This is just because I think as a township, we should always be looking at multiple entities, people, lawyers where possible. Same with quotes for building projects and other stuff. So it's nothing against Foster Swift.
So do we task trustees or board members with coming up with another firm that they want us to look at?
Absolutely.
I would say, I would say,
So for the next meeting, if you think we should consider another group, give us the information.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to take a look, so.
I'll take a look. I mean, Foster Swift has over 30 years' experience. And I know from experience, when I have called or emailed Laura, she has responded within an hour.
Yeah, there's no question that I don't think anybody on this board's questioning that.
And
I think they're just, I think Chris's whole point is as doing due diligence as a board, we should at least look at other companies, see what's out there, make sure we are getting the best one. And it is going to be the most beneficial to us. Again, I don't think anybody here or anybody in the residents that have had to deal with them or what we've done in the past has an issue.
so can we say that should a trustee or board member, treasurer, clerk, myself, if we find another law firm that we feel maybe has potential, that we submit it to the board packet for the next meeting? Is that what I'm hearing?
I would put a time limit. I would say a week.
Next week?
Yeah, I mean.
By Monday of next week, we have anybody that has somebody they want to present, we have that to Pam so that she can get that information into the packet.
And maybe we can even get some pricing.
If possible, yeah, would give us some time to get some pricing, but you at least get the names in the packet, and if we can get some additional pricing to go with it, that'd be great. But at least it'd give us something to discuss at the next meeting. So again, I don't want this sitting out there for weeks. Again.
No, I really think we need something in place in a month, for sure.
I agree. So I think anybody that I'm guessing most people are gonna go and be able within a week know whether there's another company, or another lawyer, or a firm that they think would fit. Because I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go look at some of the other areas that have done this and see what they used.
Are you okay with them emailing you first?
Yeah, I just want a date here, so today's the 3rd. Do you want it on next Monday or
All names due by Monday.
week? So by February 9th?
Yeah, that'll give time, we can contact them. If they can get us pricing, great. If they can't, at least we can get their information.
At least we can
into
get
the packet.
a bio sheet like Foster Swift here.
Yeah, and into the packet for the next meeting.
Right.
So we have something intelligent to discuss.
But I would like a bio or a resume of their specific experience in data center
That's what you
care,
said, a
data
bio.
centers.
A
So
bio.
not just a bio about their firm in general.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so I'd really like to know what they've been doing from a data center perspective, similar to what Foster Swift has put together, so that we're comparing apples to apples.
All right. So we've got that.
Public comments.
Public remarks? Yes, Scott?
Scott Dietrich, White Road. In regards to the fire fund, I think we should use more funds and get more police protection. And I think we need a buffer. I mean, maybe we could help the fire department out and get more equipment. Maybe we can get more full-time fast-serving fire people to get to the fires. Okay, in regard to the road, Logan Road, I live on White Lake Road. It's primary, and we got tired of the traffic and the road being tore up. Cost us $10,000 each. We got it paved. And the manufactured home park should put their part. But we as citizens, we paid $10,000 each. So we did have a cost out of our pocket. It was allocated over 10 years, so it was a special assessment. So I don't know if they want to do that over there, but that's something, I mean, as a resident, I had to fork out some money. But that's something, an option. I mean, we're going to look at stuff like that going on down the line. I mean, we put out 10 grand. So in regards to the meetings, this has been our biggest problem for the meetings, is the agenda. That's why we're here until 10, 11 o'clock. We had one meeting canceled because the boogeyman was going to come and shoot somebody or hurt somebody, and that was a false report. But other than that, I don't know what we're going to do, because people have a right to come up here. You might think it's an attack on people, but it's very important. Some people come out there upset about things. It's like the other day, my neighbor, Lynn, posted something about the snowstorm. And my neighbor blurted out, well, it's so nice for you to be able to miss a day of work during a snowstorm when I got to drive to work. The snow was between 2 and 3 inches. My neighbor was upset about this. She's over 70 years old. She scraped her driveway and made it to work. You know how many of our citizens go to work every week in Michigan through snowstorms and out there in the traffic backed up and they can't get to work? But our people that work here, convenience for them, they're only 2 or 3 miles away. And the office only opens at 9 o'clock. And for her to see the township close on Monday because of 2 to 3 inches of snow, she was upset. And I think it was kind of BS too. You know how many years I've spent on that highway in traffic jams because of the expressway, an accident going back and forth to work? Over 30. So it was a poor excuse to shut the township down for 2 or 3 inches of snow. That expressway doesn't have any indication of them getting to work. So she proceeded to attack my resident, and I made the comment that, well, maybe there's not enough work to do here if we can just blow a day off of work. And she attacked me then. Herman, you made a thing last week for evaluation of this township. Some people might not be getting paid enough, but we need to evaluate. We need an outside opinion of what's going on, and not to be picking on anybody, but I think we need to really evaluate what's going on. We need an outside eyes.
Scott, I want to add to that, you know, we're the only township closed.
No, there was others, but.
I called every other one. They're all open.
Yeah. Well,
Every one of them was
2.3 inches, whatever, is ridiculous. Oh, that's why we're always behind on everything in council.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, sorry.
So not only are you cutting out time that we can speak, but you're kind of telling us what we have to say or what we can't say. So we're just being censored is what it is. And really, we need a definition of what an attack is. I mean, some people are passionate when they come up, but if they're pointing out things that have happened and mistakes that you've made, is that an attack? Or is it an attack, Herman, when your fellow board member's speaking and you go berserk because you don't like the way he's speaking? Or how about you, Greg? Would you slam your gavel and tell somebody they can't speak and it takes a sheriff to tell you that that woman can speak? Is that an attack? So what's the definition? And, you know, your comment about, well, we have business to conduct here, and we have to do it in a timely manner. You know what? You all vote the same. Bam, bam, bam. Doesn't take 5 seconds. Because not one of you ever stop to, let me think about it, or let's discuss it. You've already conducted your business because you all know how you're going to vote when you come out here. So that's BS. You all vote the same, and your business has already been conducted. And what are the odds that 5 people are always gonna think the same and never have an individual thought or a remark to make? Just bam, 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 let's hurry up, we gotta get out of here. We can't have a late meeting. That's such a joke.
Anybody else?
Just so you know, Jeanette Ropetta, Tyrone Township resident, just so you know, the Planning Commission did forget a couple of accomplishments they left out, that they let a moratorium run out and went, oops, oh, we let the moratorium fail. And that they had to redo the solar overlay after the residents told them what was wrong with it, and then the county had to tell them, but they forgot those. Supervisor Carnes, during your campaign, you made several campaign promises. Instead of taking my word for it, I would like you to listen to a couple of clips, but I wasn't able to upload them, so I'll just tell you what they say, and I'll put them on my Facebook page. He says, I have noticed a disconnect between the residents and some township officials. My first order of business as your supervisor will be to fix that. The next audio clip, he says, I want to lean heavily on the experience of our greatest resource, the residents. Workshops, town halls, more workshops. So by the time something reaches the board, it's just a formality. So help me understand this. How does limiting public comment fix the disconnect you campaigned about? How does hearing less from residents line up with your campaign promise to lean heavily on residents? And again, just so everyone knows, he can't look at me when I tell him these things. And how does cutting back public input do anything other than say you'd like us to shut up? Oh, you said that out loud last time, didn't you? In case you think people aren't listening, that video of you yelling, I think you should shut up, got nearly 2,000 views. Tyrone Township residents may not be showing up at these meetings yet, but they know exactly what you're doing. And I don't think they're going to be very patient about you trying to silence residents. It would be different if you were answering us, if you were applying the rules and laws equally, but you aren't, are you? There's selective enforcement mixed in with a bias and retaliation. And don't think it's just the residents who see this. There are other people watching. And tonight you let these guys talk in the back there. We can't hear over them, but you ignore them completely. If board members are hearing the same concerns more than once, that tells me residents don't feel heard the first time. That's not a public comment problem, that's a communication problem on your part. Public comment is one of the only ways residents can speak directly to this board in an open meeting. And don't say we can come in there when you're all holding a phone up at me and you're ripping up a FOIA check in my face. Really? That's welcoming? I'm asking this. If residents are your greatest resource, why did you just limit their voice? Why did you change your tune, Greg? Who got to you? Who made you change? And Herman, last week you said, oh, we're not going to do this. I don't want to limit it. But you changed tonight too. So who got to you? Very interesting.
Gordon Tomaszewski. I'd just like to say there's one underlying theme that always seems to be in place here. Anything that can be done to restrict the residents, make hurdles, make things more difficult, you guys absolutely have no problem voting for. NDAs, FOIAs, restrict comments. Like I said, we employ you, but evidently you guys don't get it. People come here, yeah, it is redundant a lot of times on what people say, and it is the fact that you do not seem to be listening. Something that I thought about in listening when you guys were discussing the $500 or $500,000 that was in a resolution that sat from 2017 where there hadn't been another resolution made. It was pretty obvious when you guys said, well, it's been done that way, why change it? And to me, that's the whole issue here. Every one of you, or I should say not everyone, but the 5 of you, why are you afraid of change? That's what this is all about. You guys want to stay entrenched in exactly everything that's gone on in this township. You don't want to change anything. You know what I learned in life? I learned that change is good. And if you can't take objective opinions from people, and you can't look at things and make changes where necessary, you're just doomed for failure. But this is government, so guess what? You're not going to fail because you guys are all guaranteed your jobs, your benefits, and everything else. In the private sector, you'd probably go bankrupt. You don't have the leadership to do what's needed to be done in the private sector. It's shocking to me that you turn around and you won't listen to the input at these meetings. And the thing is this, you talk about not having time at the meetings, but I'll guarantee you something. You want me to start showing up at the office every day and come in and talk to you about my complaints? Do you want me to come in and take up 15 minutes of your time, 10, 15, 20 minutes of your time? I mean, it's ridiculous. So guess what? How about if you had 20, 30, 40 residents a day come in, go over the same repeated issue, even though it's repetitive, they're going to come in and ask you the same thing. What are you going to get accomplished in a workday by doing that? I think it's just stupid. I mean, plain stupid to do that.
One more?
Kevin Ross, Heartland Road. Good evening. I'm here to talk about time and the way time is being wasted in our township meetings. I reviewed the January 20th meeting and I built a spreadsheet that tracks the discussion time by agenda topic. This is an opinion, it's documented from a public recording. Here are the totals from that spreadsheet. Total board agenda discussion time was 2 hours, 12 minutes, 38 seconds. Out of that total discussion time, Chris consumed 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 27 seconds. And Chris alone accounted for 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 7 seconds of speaking time within those segments. Let that sink in, guys. That means that Chris's discussion portions were about 79.5% of all agenda discussion time. And Chris heard himself speak personally was about 46.8% of all agenda discussion time. Nearly half of the meeting's agenda discussion was dominated by one trustee. This isn't how a board meeting is supposed to function. Many of these questions could have been handled before the meeting, by email, by requesting documents in advance, or by simply preparing, right? We do this on the Planning Commission. We prepare. Instead, the meeting became a long series of drawn-out interrogations and attempted gotcha moments. And the cost isn't abstract. When meetings get hijacked like this, everybody pays. The board's time is wasted, the public's time is wasted, and the township's paid professionals are forced to sit through it on the clock, like Casey the accountant, Chuck the attorney, and Terry the deputy clerk, who are all hourly. That's not fiscal responsibility, guys. That's not leadership, and that's also not serving the public. So I'm saying this clearly and directly to you, Chris. This behavior needs to stop. If you have questions, submit them in advance. If you need clarification, request it. For the love of God, request it before the meeting. If there's a legitimate issue, bring it forward in an actual professional and focused way without turning it into a meeting, into a personal performance. It's not transparency what you're doing, it's filibustering. I've said it once again. These meetings are not a stage for you. They're working sessions that are funded by the taxpayers of Tyrone Township. And I'm asking the board to set some expectations for meeting conduct and time management. I'm asking every trustee and every official, and especially Chris, to respect time, money, and patience of these people you are elected to serve.
Academy Award to you. Hey. Not appropriate. He didn't respond to yours. You don't need to respond to his.
And I'm still doing what I'm elected to do from the constituents that I
Again,
represent. So.
we don't respond.
I'm not responding to him, I'm responding to you guys. Thank you.
Okay, anyway, anybody else? Oh, one more.
Hello, I'm Wade Johnson. I've lived in a township for 42 years now. And this is the first meeting I've been to. Can't say it's been interesting. There's been some good points made about the data center and getting good counsel for it. I think that's very important that you look at that and get somebody that's going to back the community on that. I think that's what's happened in other townships is they go in and you're a small group and they come in and steamroll you with what they have. And as far as my opinion with data centers is it's not for the community. It doesn't help the community. It hurts the community. If you look at the data from other communities that have data centers, the pollution is horrible. The people don't even want to live in the areas anymore. So take a good look at that. Do what's right for the community. And I think things will work out a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. All right. Anybody else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Miscellaneous business, sorry.
Sorry.
I missed.
Hey, you said adjourn.
Yeah.
You have a motion and a second.
Jennifer's ready to go.
All right, let's go.
You said it.
No, do we have any miscellaneous items? All right, motion to adjourn. Seconded.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who did it? Who motioned? to
I
adjourn?
motioned.
Jennifer and then Herm?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll be in there somewhere.
Okay.
Sorry.
Might have been Zach. I don't know. He's the ventriloquist.
Trying to confuse everybody here. That's right.
I didn't expect last guy.
The base is good, and the drainage is good. That's the stuff. I think there's more we can do, but as far as that,